Hey, everybody. Insert non sequitur here. You know what that means. That means it's time for another talking time lapse video with me, your good buddy, Josh Davenport. As always, all these videos here on YouTube, as well as all the comics on RGBros.com, are brought to you by the fine folks supporting the work over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Josh Davenport. So that's a very big thanks to Brandon, Dan, Vivian, Matt, Mike, and Tobias. Thank you all so much for your continued support of All in the Work. Today we are doing the talking time lapse of RG Bros comic Phoney. You see what I did there with the phone and the yeah. So basically, this is a comic about those times when you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're like, "Oh, I need to check what time it is. Let me check my phone." And you're like, "Oh, damn it, where's my phone?" And you're holding it to your head the entire time. Everybody's had that once or twice. I know it's not just me. And if it is, don't tell me. I don't want to know that I'm dumber than everybody else. Uh, but yeah, that's what this comic's about. So it's trying to figure out how to take that situation and change it around, make Reggie look even dumber than I look in that situation. Uh, Plus, it was really fun to just draw goo and gunk gummed up to the side of his face. And this is one of those comics where I feel like the Reggie in the first frame has a different face than the Reggie in frames 2 or 3. Uh, it's not that it's a bad face. It's just I think sometimes I get his face either too low or too high. I'm still trying to nail that absolutely down. I'm getting way closer to constantly hitting premium reg, as the kids are saying, out on the streets where the kids hang. Um, but yeah, that's basically the gist of what this comic's about. So here I am, I'm shifting the face around, trying to get it right. I just don't think, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make the chin larger there. But that first face just does not work for me now. It didn't work for me then. Doesn't work for me now. But you're not gonna hear me complain about it because everything I do is perfect. Everything is perfect. Um, this is Thursday night. If you're listening to this sometime in the weird, far gone future, it's March 2nd, rolling on to March 3rd. And March 3rd is the release of the Nintendo Switch, which I don't know about you, I'm super excited about. I traded in a good portion of my games collection to be able to get off my hands on one, so hopefully it's not going to disappoint me. Because I'm going to go try that out tonight. I'll probably get it home and fall asleep halfway through the unboxing, though, because I've been super tired lately. Mostly because I don't know about where you live, but down here in Alabama, the weather has changed not only every day, but like 3 times a day. It's like you wake up and it's cold, and then it gets warm, and then it gets cold again. It's like you can't even depend on it like you can, like, if you live in the desert. I know in some desert climates, like, it gets really cold at night and then super hot during the day. And you're like, okay, at least I know what the schedule's like on this thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, desert people. I don't know. I've never actually been to the desert. But around here, it just continues to fluctuate up and down until my head wants to explode. So that's where I spent most of the last weekend, was just laying around with my eyes closed, moaning and groaning like a big old baby. Because my sinuses were trying to kill me. But yeah, looking forward to hopefully playing a little bit of the Switch tonight, and I'll let you know how that turns out. Might draw a comic about it next week. Who knows? Depends on if the muse is with me. Um, but yeah, like I said, I've been pretty tired, which can lead to mistakes being made. Uh, like, I've been helping my daughter with this homegrown geodes set she got from Target, and I totally screwed that up because I was so sleepy. Like, you're supposed to mix this bag of chemicals, which is basically this, science kit for kids. Is like, when you really strip it down, you open it up. There's 3 plastic shells, and then there's a bag of chemicals in it. Uh, I can't remember what the exact thing is, like ammonium diphosphate or something like that. It's probably not completely harmless, but all over the bag it's like skin irritant, eye irritant, don't touch it, don't breathe it, whatever. So we were making geodes with that store-bought kit, and you can color them. And it comes with one color of dye, red, but Olivia wanted to do other colors, so we go to the store and get a pack of food coloring, bring it back, and I'm helping her out with it. And it's like, okay, so if you're making one color, you mix 2 cups of water with the rest of the bag of this chemical stuff. And then it's if you want to use multiple colors, you split it up into 3 separate containers. So here's what a well-rested, intelligent human being would do. You mix the 2 cups of water with the chemical agent in one container, and then you pour it equally into other containers. What I did was go, here's what we do. We're gonna pour a little bit of the bag of stuff into each container, and then I don't know how much water to use. It says 2 cups, so I'm gonna do 1.5 cups in each. Yeah, you heard that right. That's about as dumb as it gets. I was like, what do? Do you equally split up the instructions, or do you completely dilute every bit of this thing with like 2.5, or how many more cups is that? 3, 4.5. So 2.5 more cups of water than is what actually is called for. So no wonder the next day comes around, because it takes like 15 hours for these things to grow, and my wife is calling me at work and being like, I think these things are not working right. I think you put too much water in them because they're not growing at all. And I was like, yeah, that's a distinct possibility. I might have just screwed that all up. So, long story short, I invested in 2 bags of chemicals because I messed the first one up. Much as I keep going back over this Reggie forearm line here, if you keep seeing me do that, for some reason my hand did not want to make the motion right. I kept bending out the wrist line, making it look like he had broken his forearm or something. Because, I'm a professional artiste. I'm a professional, as my good buddy Matt is wont to say. I'm a professional. I like to do things professionally. I like to go to work at an office. But yeah, so I drew a couple of comics this week about. I drew one comic about robots because Boston Dynamics is back in the news. They're doing crazy robotic stuff always. They're the people who made like the weird robo horse dogs that you've probably seen running through the wilderness. Now they've got some robot called Handle that like rollerblades around and jumps over tables and lifts a lot of heavy stuff with its big robotic clamp hands. It's one of those things that just makes people afraid that one day one's going to come bursting through their door and smash their skull to pieces. Those kind of robots. But I did that and it got me thinking about, like robotic automation. We're not in, the future where robots are like, roaming around, walking our dogs and, stuff like that. But we are in the future where the robots like build cars and things and, you never know. They're making robots now that are supposedly, or machine learning, where they're trying to get computers to reprogram themselves and things like that on the fly, using artificial intelligence. So, eventually, robots gonna be doing it all, y'all. And that's another reason, to constantly be working at stuff that requires a little bit of creativity in my mind. Probably we're always going to need a little bit of a human touch in everything. I don't know if there'll come a time where robotics will become so utterly autonomous that they don't need us. Could happen, but I don't know. I ain't no expert. But ain't gonna be no robots writing these comics anytime soon. They're way too lowbrow for a machine to figure out. Machines don't know how to fart yet, and that's where I've got them. That's all I'm trying to say. Long, drawn-out conversation to let you know that until they invent a machine that figures out how to tell a great fart joke, they're not kicking me off the top of the hill. Just yet. Although from what I understand, Family Circus has been written by a robot for the last, like, 5 to 7 years. Don't go spreading that around, but that's the word on the street. Ugh. But, yeah, so weather and all the sinuses and junk have been slowing me up a little bit lately. Ugh. Trying not to yawn my way all the way through this video. Here we are in the colors. The colors, Duke. The colors. Everybody knows that commercial. Because we're all of us were born in the 80s. I just assume everyone else is. There he goes. He's putting in the teeth colors. But yeah. So, robots and whatnot. Logan is also coming out this weekend, which I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about. I read Old Man Logan, the comics, and it was it was pretty awesome. I know it's not going to be like that because they'd have to have the rights to like the entire Marvel echelon to be doing that story, and they don't have those. But I'm sure it's probably going to be pretty cool. I mean, I went to the movies and sat through all of the Wolverine films, all the other two. The first one is a god-awful travesty. The second one had its moments, but then, it devolved into Wolverine fighting a giant adamantium samurai for some reason. Could have been better. That's all I'm saying. No disrespect to, Hugh Jackman, because I got mad respect for that dude. But them movies said he does so great. That's a hot take. I'm sure everybody out there's like, those are the best films that have ever been made. All the Wolverton films are the best. That was what disappointed me so much because, like, I can't remember. I think the original Wolverine movie came out after X-Men 3, but I discounted X-Men 3 entirely because I hated it. But, X2 was pretty awesome. You got Wolverine like running around just stabbing dudes. Sure, there was no blood, and what I understand is going to be plenty in this new movie, which I'm excited about. But you can't have a guy whose main power is knives for hands, and then run around and be like, no violence, folks. This is not good. This is not what people come to see Wolverine about. Old Captain Knife Hands, he should be cooking people, sliced tomato sandwiches. That's all he's got to use those for. We get a whole Ninja Turtles 2 type vibe going there. But yeah, so even in, X-Men 2 or whatever, there's a scene where Wolverine busts out of the Weapon X facility or whatever, and he's just covered in blood where, he's been tearing through everybody inside. And then you get the Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine or whatever, and they do almost shot for shot that exact scene, but he comes out like he ran through a shower on his way out of there, and he's just completely spotless. And at that point, I was like, bleh. And that was before the whole weird CGI claw scenes. Like, dudes, you had 2 other movies where you already, 3 other movies where you already figured this stuff out. What is going on? So, here's hoping that this new Wolverine film is awesome. Hopefully I'm going to get an update from Jeff over from Don't Hit Save, that webcomic. He was sending me gloating messages earlier on the phone saying that he was going to see it. So, number 1, screw you, Jeff. And number 2, please tell me if the movie is worth it. And I hope it is. But, yeah. I'm going to say but about 40 more times right before the end of this. But we're getting down to the wire here on this video. So I thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm looking to do some other stuff on this channel coming up. More of these. Maybe not as many as have been coming out. Because I'm trying to switch over to do some other stuff as well. Maybe some animation stuff. I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled. But I'll keep you updated on any of that. But in the meantime, thanks for chilling out and listening to me drone on and on about sinuses and robots and, bullshit. And I will catch you all later.